Hi, thank you for joining us for Mom Talk. Today we're going to be talking about life after baby. What changed? What is different? How was it before and how is it now? So Leslie.
Well, coming from when at the time I was a single mom, and so after I had my son, I was only 21 years old, and so I had this brand new baby. I was all by myself, and I really had no one to help me or even talk to. So I think the biggest thing was my friends, because all my friends were still out drinking, partying. I mean, they still were dating, and and they had their young life, I mean, as they should. And then here I am, all my friends, like, I can't call up and complain, oh, I was up all night because I had to feed. No, they're like, so what, you're up all night drinking.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
So I think that was the hardest thing for me to adjust and try to find new friends that actually share children.
Yeah. I think that happens at any age though, because I mean, I was 24 when I had my first son, but I went through college, I did the drinking, the partying, all that. And even, at 24, when a lot of my friends were getting married and stuff, it's still, I had to get a new set of friends, the ones that weren't married and that didn't have kids yet. They just couldn't relate. We didn't have anything to talk about, or they would call and say, you want to grab coffee? Well, I have my baby. Oh, never mind. What do you mean, never mind? My baby's cute. You want to see them. Like, look at how cute he is. And then, of course, they're like, okay, we'll go to coffee. And then they listen to me talk about my baby for an hour. I know, buzzkill. But don't you know what their poopy diapers look like? Because this and this is totally different. And they're like, oh no, oh no.
No, I went through the same thing, and it was kind of depressing. Everybody you knew and all the people you talked to, they just kind of scatter. And you feel very alone. Did you feel that way? I felt so alone, and I would get really, really sad. But like you said, you have to make new friends and just meet moms, because they're the only ones that can relate. And you tell your friends you're up all night, and they're like, I do that every night. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So how did you make friends?
I started a playdate group actually, because I was home and I was by myself, and I was crying, and I was like, I need to get out of this house. I need to just get some space and have like adult conversation. I was so tired of just being miserable. I'm like, okay, I can either be miserable and do nothing about it, or I can be miserable and try to fix it. So I made the playdate group that we're all in, and I found like a lot of moms have the same problems. They feel alone, they cry, they are stressed out, and they need someone to talk to. So I was really happy that
I feel like when we go to meet up and stuff at playgroups, it's important for our children as well to socialize.
Oh, yes.
But it's more important for us to socialize. Like, I need that human contact where, my husband doesn't understand that. Adult human. Well, my husband doesn't understand that, because he's like, well, why are you going to this, that day, and that day? Especially since I work, and on my days off, I spend this time at the playgroups and things like that. And he says, why are you stressing yourself out? If you stay at home with the kids, they're not going to know any different. They don't need to be socialized.
It's way more stressful to sit at home.
And he has no idea. Yeah, I was like,
you gotta wear them out. Are you kidding me? You gotta get them tired and let them play. You're like, you stay home with him for
yeah, just
see how you like that.
Well, my husband and I, we switch off, being a working mom. So I have them, during the week, and then he has them on the weekends while I'm at work. So he gets it. He absolutely gets it. But it is easier almost to stay at home with them, because I have a very rowdy toddler. Like, anybody that's ever met him knows he is a crazy boy. Like, I barely get to sit down. Like, he's just absolutely insane. And at home, he's contained. Everything is baby-proof. We've gotten rid of all of our pretty nice furniture and our pretty nice knickknacks. So, yeah, everything, he's in a contained area. All the doors have a lock on them, and so he's easier to control in that environment.
How's your body change?
Anybody's here?
You mean this extra 50 pounds is not good to you? I thought it looked great.
Did your body not change?
How did you two get your bodies back? That's what we'd like to know.
I really didn't get it back until about a year ago.
Really?
And I was just so depressed. With my first one, I only gained like 30 pounds, and I was able to, it just came off. But with my daughter, I gained a lot more weight, and then I was working all the time, and I was working like 60 hours a week, and I didn't have time to cook. I didn't have time to exercise. I mean, I worked and I came home, and so we would always go out to eat and stuff. So I gained a lot of weight with my second one, and it was my husband's military. So we moved down here just recently, about 2 years ago, and I then started to be a stay-at-home mom, and I was so depressed. And you know, and in Corpus Christi, you got the beaches, everyone, all the college are in their bathing suits, and I'd be out there with my one-piece short skirt,
and a wrap. You're all, you don't like this winter coat on the beach?
And I was just like, I was so depressed with that. I was like, I gotta change something. And then plus the health issues, we have diabetes that runs high in my family. And
mine too.
my grandpa recently, before we moved down here, died of diabetes, of causes for it. And I couldn't do that to my kids and my family. And so I told myself that I was gonna change, and I we ran to the gym every day, and I just kind of went there, and then, you know, I found a gym that has a kind of daycare type thing, kids zone, where you could drop your kids off for 2 hours a day. And so I let her go play so she could have friends, and my son was in school, and I went and worked out, and that just became our
Good for
routine.
everybody.
Yeah, so.
I'm trying to do that. I really am. I go there, and then, you know, when they're little, they start the screaming, like you're leaving them there forever.
You just drop them into a tank of alligators.
My youngest now, she's 19 months old. She's going to be 20 months old soon, and she is seriously already starting her terrible twos. She started throwing her body back. She's just like, you know, just like, really, Alexis, really? You're gonna do this to me? So they look at me like, your child is completely freaking out. And I'm like,
You gotta be used to it by now, you'd think.
It's
Sure,
hard.
not the first kid.
I mean, I have really bad, like, working mommy guilt, so I think I can't drop my child off for 2 hours while I go work out and do something for me when I'm already out of the house for 40 hours a week.
Exactly.
I feel like my time at home needs to be completely 100% to them, which I know that needs to change my mindset, because taking care of me makes me a better mom, and it sets a good example and stuff. So I need to do it, but I just haven't. When I was on maternity leave, though, I went to the gym every single day as soon as I got my clearance. So, but then I went back to work and I stopped going.
See, that was the thing. Like, I wish somebody would have told me when I had my C-section. You can't. Like, my friend, she had her natural birth just before I had my first pregnancy, and she had natural and I had C-section, and she was walking like that day. You know, when you have a C-section, you have surgery, so you can't do anything for weeks. So I didn't know, it was really hard. Like, you feel motivated when you've already dropped all that baby, like, initial weight, and you want to get to the gym, but you can't do anything because you just had surgery, major surgery. So you have to sit, you sit on the couch, and it's hard to get motivated after that.
Great.
I think something else that really, changed after we had a kid was just my husband and I relearning our roles and who we were as a couple, and your relationship really shifts massively, and you relearn your partnership. And sometimes you feel like you're pulling more weight than the other person, and you can get resentment, and it's really like learning how to talk to your partner and be like, hey, look, I'm mad at you right now because I feel like you're kind of not doing your part.
Yeah.
And learning constructive ways to talk to them about this, and not throwing baby monitors at their head across the room because they broke the baby after the
Did you do that postpartum? I don't remember.
No, I was my friend.
No,
my friend threw the baby monitor.
See, I can relate to that because I nurse, and my husband, like, he works, he's a breadwinner or whatever it's called, and I have to stay home with the girls. So he's like, well, I have to sleep because he does all numbers all day, and he's got to be accurate to pay people. And I'm just like, okay,
I'm
so
taking care of a human being.
Yeah.
I need to be cognizant too.
Yeah, and the thing is, I would be so tired, but he's like, he didn't say it, I said it. I was like, well, the thing is, like, if she's hungry, I have to nurse her. So if you get woken up and messed up from your sleep, this is my first pregnancy, this is how I thought. I totally screwed myself over it. But I would tell him, okay, well, I will get up and I'll see what she needs. Well, if it's a diaper change, it's a quick diaper change. And if it's nursing, I can only do that, and pumping, it wouldn't work because if he's bottle feeding, you still got to feed the baby because the milk's still coming.
Yeah.
So, it's just like, I was constantly up, and, he would get up sometimes, but I was the one that was doing most of the work, and I was so resentful.
It was hard. And, like, Lily nursed to sleep until we sleep trained about 5.5 months or so. So, yeah, it was just nurse her to sleep in my bed, and then, like, do, like, carrying a bomb
Yeah.
to her crib. Please God, don't wake up. Please don't wake up. And I'd lay her down. And my husband, he was in the Marines, and he lost part of his hearing, so he's really loud. So, you know, he'd get a phone. Hey! Just start screaming so loud, and he would wake the baby up. And
You're like,
you don't know
right now.
until, you know, you have a newborn baby that's been woken up. You just, oh.
Well, I have a baby right now that's 5.5 months old, and he's going through the stage where you can't breathe when you're nursing because he will be distracted. And so I go to the bedroom, which nursing with a toddler, like having a 2-year-old and a newborn,
No, they know
that's
you're
impossible.
nursing, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, I'll be in the room trying to seclude the baby, trying to nurse him, and my husband will walk in, you know, oh, honey, I'm home. And I'm like, daggers, like, you just got him to stop nursing, and I just had a latch on, and my boob is hard, and I'm uncomfortable, and you go away. And he's like, I just wanted to say I love you. And I'm like, I want to throw something at you. But that's a little bit of postpartum hormones. Running wild there.
Oh, yeah. But see, the thing is, my husband, like, you have to communicate with your spouse because he didn't know that I was all resentful and mad because he wasn't helping.
No, they have no idea.
He didn't realize, okay, I didn't know you got up 4 or 5 times last night, you know?
They sleep. Wouldn't have to go to sleep like my husband does.
Oh.
I know.
My
You're like nursing the baby, or he's crying, and he's asleep, and he's got the pillow over his head, and you're like, ooh, you're lucky. Like, I mean, we always have water next to our bed, and I can't even tell you how many times I've thought about just taking it and dumping it on him. Like, right? Like, the baby's shrieking. How can't you hear this? I mean, for the most part, when they're really little and they're getting lots of diaper changes, you know, especially after a C-section and stuff, he was really good about, you know, the baby would wake up and be like, how can I help you? And so he would change the diaper and bring the baby to me. And he was really good about that for the first couple weeks. But after that novelty wears off of, oh, you're back to normal, then it's all like, just sleep on.
You don't want to show that you're back to normal. You're like, oh, it hurts so bad. I'm just kidding.
I had to pump for a long time because Lily was in the NICU for 24 days. So I would pump, and we would take turns for the first, probably about the 8 weeks or so before I actually got her full breast. You know, I would pump, he would feed her a bottle. But after I got her full breast, like, that was it. Like, he was not getting out of bed. Like, and I mean, my husband's a really great guy, but they just don't think. Like, they genuinely, it just doesn't occur, I would say, I don't want to say every single man, because I'm sure there's some fabulous, fantastic, perfect husband out there that gets out of bed every single
Well, I was just going to ask, Becca, you chose the bottle feed.
Did
you have one
I
else?
don't like breastfeeding. I'm not a breastfeeder, but no offense to people that did. Hey, right on, great, not for me.
Yeah.
But my husband got up when Oakley was born. He was like the proud papa. You know, if I was up, he was up, and he would come in. Like on his breaks or something, he would come home and even if the baby was sleeping, he wanted to hold the baby, talk to the baby, see the baby, you know, and he was really, really, really good. If I was awake, he was awake.
Oh, wow.
And I just got lucky.
There was one time I had my husband get up one night. I was like, please. It was after I was done breastfeeding, and I was like, please, I just want one night's sleep. Yeah, I got no problem. And she was in there crying and crying. And so I woke up, I'm like, your turn, you promised.
Yeah.
And so he's like, and so we went into the kitchen, and all of a sudden, about a couple minutes later, I hear this bottle slam against the wall. And I guess he like spilt the formula all over, and he got so mad, and then Addison was screaming. I'm like,
and everything's worse at 2 a.m.
Yes.
I was like, you know what, whatever. Yeah, I'm already up. That just won't be the whole purpose, and so that was his attempt. So.
Does anybody miss like having privacy in the bathroom?
Oh my God.
What is that again?
Like, you know, having somebody, and now I have two there crying at me. I'm like, really?
You know, I was actually speaking about that to one of my doctors when we were talking about that, and she, you know, she has a stay-at-home dad husband. And we were talking about, you know, shower, because I was like, oh yeah, I took a shower this morning, I've got one at my feet, the other one crying, and blah, blah, and I was like, what it would be to take a shower by myself. And, you know, she was just like, I don't ever have to take a shower with the kids in the room. She's like, I take a shower, my husband keeps the kids out of the room, and that's, you know, that's the way it works. And I'm like, wow, must be nice, you know, because I'm working mom, like, why doesn't my, you know.
Mine bangs on the door.
Yeah.
Like, she can't open doors yet, but like, even if I go into like the bathroom to take a shower, I hear her like on the bedroom door just banging and like screaming her head off.
Or,
like,
can I look? You want to look to see what I'm doing. Really? Like, go away.
I have 4 that were close together, and then there's a big gap for the 5th. It's like 7 years for the 5th one. but those 4, they were all little, and I could consider it a good day if I got to shave both legs in one day.
Yeah.
Woo!
I just stopped shaving altogether.
Like the right one smooth today.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, I've done that and I walk out and I'm like, wow, one of them's really pretty.
See, I don't know, most of the time I guess I don't have too much trouble because I just do it after she goes to sleep at night. But my kid goes to bed really, really early, so I have quite a few hours in the evening. I don't
Oh, that's nice. I don't have that, no.
But my husband, I mean, I've changed a lot since I've had a baby. I mean, before I was a fun-loving college student. I worked out. I was, you know, very peppy. I had lots of extra money. I spent lots of money on myself, my clothes, my nails, everything, right? So when he met me, I was this like perfect little blonde Barbie doll, and now I'm like this overly tired 50 pounds later woman who's very annoyed with him, but he just seems to love me anyway. You know, and it's really a hard balance, like finding that, because I had 2 pregnancies back to back, you know, by choice, and that's the way we want it, but I'm exhausted all the time. Like, I don't know if you ladies feel like that, but I don't feel like shaving my legs. I don't want to do my hair. I don't want to do my makeup. I mean, to get me out of the house with even eyeliner on or mascara on, it's a feat in itself. I'm like, here, son, put your makeup on so I can put my makeup on. You know, and it's really, you know, surprising because, like I said, my husband, anybody that's ever met him, they just, you know, he loves me to pieces. He loves me just the way I am. He's completely fine with whatever changes I've gone through, and he, of course, looks just like the day we met, and it's not fair. But, you know, I find it really hard to, like, you know, take the time to do my makeup and take the time to invest in our marriage and invest in our, you know, even just as a couple, like, sexual part of it. Like, I can't even think about that.
Yeah.
I mean, does anybody else feel like that it hasn't changed, or?
Oh, mine's changed a lot because, yeah, the before and after, it's totally different, you know. I feel tired a lot. I always have.
It's hard to
and you have
shift
somebody
from mommy mode to naughty mode. I mean,
Well,
really, that's kind of cliche.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just it's so hard. Like, you lay down, and, you know,
And you've got
kids
shopping
there with your husband. Yes, you're thinking about all
some
things
poopy
you have to
diaper.
do. Oh my God, look at that pile of laundry over there that needs to be
Or you
folded.
have.
Or hurry up
somebody-
before the baby wakes up and I start leaking,
Yeah.
like, right?
That's sexy.
That's sexy. Yeah.
Built-in spigots.
Yeah.
Well, you have somebody on you all the time, like wanting something, and you're just like, I finally can just sit down, and then your husband's like, hey.
Yeah.
Like, I love you so much. I'm so tired.
And it's hard to explain to them, honey, it's not you, it's me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's so hard. Because you
Yeah.
don't want to turn them down because you love them so much.
No, I
You're
want to
like,
turn it down. Love you. It's just like I said, I'm tired. I only have 1 daughter, so I don't know how anybody who has more than 1 kid does it. But
It's not a
same thing as I'm really big on personal space, and it's so hard for me, like you said, when you have a toddler just attached to you, and it's just constant, just touching, and then your husband gets home and it's touching.
Yeah.
I just need a break. Like,
Yeah.
it really, what's helped our relationship is taking time to ourselves, like really just making sure we set aside time to be on our own, and then also as a couple, and like, so we're both really lucky that our families are nearby, so we're able to get time away as a couple.
we do need nice.
Yeah, I used to be a really touchy-feely person. I always would want to hold
Maybe I was
hands.
cuddly before
I would
had kids.
cuddle on the couch, and now I was like, I don't want to be touched at all. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, my kids, they, like you said, all up on you in your space, and
And it's a beautiful thing. I mean, it's not like I don't like it.
no.
I love having my girls snuggle up with me and stuff.
Yes.
But it's like, I
You
don't
get
know. there's-
claustrophobic.
Yeah,
Anxiety.
yeah, I get anxiety. Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Well, Becca, how do you say that it hasn't changed? How do you?
What have you done this
Yeah,
far?
what have you done?
School us,
You
please.
mean like
Yeah.
in what, like just in general life after?
Yeah.
I was always really motherly before, and my oldest daughter will be 14, going to high school this year, and I've just always felt motherly. I really didn't have that college scene, that fun, crazy stuff. I didn't have that. I was just always a mom, and I'm still a mom, but I've always wanted sex, and I still want sex, so I don't relate to anything y'all are saying.
So you don't have to turn off your mommy mode. You don't have to go through anything. Like, how do
No.
you don't have to shut anything off. You just it does
No,
it
and
automatically?
I mean, I guess I don't really, I don't know how to shut it off, because if he's gonna wake up, you know, later and I'm gonna hear him crying, I'm like, then, you know, we can still make it happen, but I opposite.
So that's
And
the thing.
I think a lot of women don't want it anymore because they don't feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
But if you're feeling bad about yourself, everybody around you knows you're feeling bad about yourself. You're not wearing makeup, you're not doing your hair, you're not putting on pretty clothes, you know, you're not making yourself feel good. And it's going to affect every part of your life. It's going to affect your husband, your sex life, you know, how you feel about yourself.
Which in turn affects your children, because if you're not happy, if mom's not happy, then kids aren't happy.
That's why they say happy wife, happy life. My husband says it 10 times a day. He knows.
Yeah.
Another thing that changed for me is, like, I can't just grab my car keys and go.
Oh, I miss that.
It takes like 30 minutes
It's
to get
such
the
a
girls
hassle.
dressed.
Or when you're in the car and you're like, okay, let's see, I would like to go to eat, but it needs to be somewhere with a drive-through because I don't want to get the kids out of the car, or I can't just go into the store real quick or jump out.
I
Like,
need somewhere to make a drive-through for milk. Because how many times am I like driving home and I'm like, man, I need to get milk, but I really don't want to stop at the store and get her out of the car seat and take her in and check out and
Listen
get her
to her
back in the
scream.
car seat, and it's just please.
And when there's two that want to run around, oh my god, it's like they want to go like
opposite direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like, you're gonna. And my husband, I love him, but he lets them get out of the shopping cart. I'm
Oh
like,
no. Oh no.
so when I go somewhere with just them,
They
that's
think
what
that
they
they
want to
can get out of
do.
the
They
car.
start screaming because they want out, and I'm like, you don't realize what you're doing to me. Because he wants to make them happy, Dad. You know, Daddy loves his girls. He wants to make them happy, and I'm like, no, you're gonna make it hard on me later. But you know.
Well, once you get past 3 kids, it doesn't matter how many you had.
Really? I've heard that before.
It really doesn't, because my third and fourth were 9 months and 2 weeks apart, and my son, you know, like I said, I had 3 in 23 months, and I didn't have any family there. I had to grocery shop. I had to do everything like that by myself, and you just figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, like I had 2 on those monkey leashes, you know, the 2 that could walk.
Yeah.
And then the third one she was early, so she was a little bit behind. So I'd have her in the carrier, you know, sitting in the top of the cart, and then the baby would be attached to me somehow.
It's
You know, front, back, something.
Yeah.
And I kept them all in the cart because I'm not going to have any room for groceries.
Yeah.
You know, so you get those leashes
Hold
and
the
you
eggs.
hang on, and then you see those people with no kids, and
They look at you like you're a horrible
I
boss.
cannot believe you have
Yeah.
that leash, and you
Yeah.
just have this many kids, and you see if you use a leash.
We
or
just
not.
went to the
Yeah.
zoo. We just went to the zoo and we used a child leash because, you know,
It was
I love those
safety.
things.
It was for safety.
I would rather put my child on a leash
hand.
than have her run off in front
Exactly.
of me.
don't you love the judgmental parent that says, well, I'm just going to teach my kid to walk right next to me and my old man?
Go for it.
Sure. You want to
Yeah.
take my son for the weekend? Because I bet you'll say something different.
I posted some pictures on Facebook of her, you know, at the zoo, and she had the leash on, and a childless male friend has the nerve to criticize. Oh, I would never use a child leash. Oh, really? Talk to me in 10 years when you have a kid.
Yeah.
Speaking of before you had kids, I was the best mom ever.
Oh,
Did you guys ever have that? I mean, I was perfect, and I had all these things I was going to do, and my child was going to be this perfect little angel, and I was going to
Sit still and
let's sit in the timeout chair. Like, I mean, now it's like, I'm going to throw you in the corner, right?
Yes.
All these things that you never thought
And you
you
see
would have
people
done.
with kids and they're like, oh, the kids are all crazy, and you're like, oh my god.
Now I look at them
She
and I
has
just said,
no
I've been
control over
there.
that child.
Yeah. Now I just say, I've been there. There are days like that.
There are, and
There's nothing you can do.
they go through their stages. Like the terrible 2s are really terrible, and then when they get to 3, it's even worse. So it's,
tell me
I'm
about
sorry,
Yeah,
dude.
they don't
It is-
stop at 2.
No, it does not.
They don't stop
But
at
at
4,
least-
5, 6.
At least when they're older, it's like you know better. Don't
Yeah.
even start
Yeah.
because you know better. Yeah.
That's what's hard at too right now is that how much do they really understand? Which you know every day they're understanding
Yeah.
more,
Yeah.
but you kind of have to walk that line of I have to remind myself
It's a
constantly.
lot of
like,
repetition.
she's 2.
Yeah.
She's 2. You can't expect so much of a 2-year-old
Yeah.
every day.
Well, you know, but then you
Then you
wonder
do.
what you can expect because,
Yeah.
you know, my son, he is a handful, and he has this thing where he wants to get naked now all the time. So we do our playgroup.
so early.
Yeah. Anyway, so we do, you know, our playgroup every week, and we go into the restaurant where they've got the tube system and blah, 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 and me and all the moms are talking, and everybody's got their perfect little angels, and my kid's absolutely crazy, of course. And all of a sudden, my butt-naked child comes out of the tube system down the slide, running around, and I'm just like, So I'm running around behind him and everybody's laughing, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, of course I'm the terrible mom with the naked kid running through the store. And I grab him and I grab him and I put him in the bathroom and I say, hey, somebody get my kid's clothes. And get him all clothed up and I come out and then another little boy's naked. I want to get naked with Bastian. And his mom's face, I told you, you see it's not just my kid. Of course my kid influenced your kid, but at least somebody else's did too.
I got paged, and this is my 3-year-old. I got paged, I was working out at the gym, and they paged me to the gymnastics area. And they were like, were you there for that?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, your daughter is naked.
Yvette, please return to the child care area. Your child has exposed herself.
What? How did she get naked? But she went to the bathroom and the Leo, you have to pull it all the way down, and then she couldn't get it back up. I'm like, okay, I get it now. But when they paged
Oh no, my son gets naked
your
just to
child
spite
is
me.
naked, I was like, how did my child get naked in gymnastics? Really? But I was kind of like, wow.
The things they do.
Yes.
Okay.
I have to really watch my mouth when I'm driving because I have road rage.
Oh.
And one time, Desiree was like, y'all move out of the way. Move it, people, move it. That's exactly what she said. And I was like, I really need to stop talking like that. You know, I mean.
It's only a matter of time, I know, before Lily says something that we've said at home that we're not going to like.
I know my husband, he's sailor, I mean, you know, military, sailor talk. Oh my gosh, my daughter, youngest one, she repeats everything. And I'm just like, oh. What did you say?
The teacher's are going to be calling you, you're going to be like, I'm so sorry.
That's not my child.
Yeah, just wait until they're in church and it's all quiet and you're like, oh.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
they learn what they live.
Yeah.
So I know all y'all have younger kids, which I have older kids. My youngest is just 3. But when, like, a 14-year-old girl, and then I have 2 younger girls after her, at that age they get to where it's not just running around naked and screaming and repeating what you say. You get into boys and dressing and however you dress is, you know, that's gonna be what your kid's like. You know, if like I'm really materialistic. Well, my daughters are that way. And so I didn't really pick up on that until, you know, they've gotten older, you know, and my daughter's like, I will not wear those shoes, you know, and I'm thinking, I said that I don't know how many times.
That's funny.
You know, but as they get older, they keep doing what you're doing. You know, they're just taking right after you, not just when they're little and you're like, oh my gosh, they said a cuss word. Oh no. It gets more intense as they get older.
Well, at the rate I'm going, by the time my kid's 14, I won't have any materials left because with my, you know, when I had him, it's like, here's my Coach bag and here's my baby with my Nike shoes on and I'm ready to go. And now, by now it's like no name brand. I didn't even wear shoes today. Where are my shoes? So, like I said, at the rate I'm going, it's dropping like flies.
I don't know, sometimes I miss, like, life before, not that I don't love my girls, but sometimes I miss just, you know, picking up and going somewhere, or having a conversation with my girlfriends without, oh my gosh, she had this diaper today, and it was like, really? Or she's, you know,
or just going out to dinner.
Yeah, not
without like the kids screaming and
or paying $50 for a sitter.
But really, like, if things are tough and you're feeling like you're not happy about something as a mom, then that's when you say, okay, well, how can I change this? You know? But we're basically out of time, ladies. So I want to thank y'all for joining us for Mom Talk, and don't forget to tune in next week for our next episode. You can log into our Facebook page to watch the rest of this episode if you missed part of it, and thank you for joining us.